Okay, so good morning everyone. This is Teacher Joanna and I will be your teacher in science. Okay, so before anything else, let us first have these words. Are you ready? Okay, so everyone, let us read migratory. Everyone, migratory. Okay, very good. And then we have buffer. Everyone, let us read buffer. Okay. And then we have store. Everyone, let us read store. So the words are migratory, buffer, and store. Now, do you know the meaning of the words? Okay, so let us know the meaning of the words, everyone. When we say migratory, when we say store, keep for future use. That is store. Do you understand? When we say migratory, that is traveling. Everyone, what is migratory? Very good. And when we say buffer, a thing that forms to moderate the impact. Okay, that is buffer. Do you understand? Okay, so those are the meaning of the words. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the interaction for survival among living and non-living things in the estuaries. So what are we going to talk about? Very good. The interaction for survival among living and non-living things in estuaries. Now, what is living things, everyone? Okay, so these are alive. And what are non-living things? These are the things that don't have life. Okay? So, of course, we are let us first talk about estuary. Okay? So, an estuary is a body of water near the coast where fresh water from rivers and streams flows into the ocean and mixes with salt water. That is an estuary. So again, what is an estuary? A body of water near the coast where fresh water from rivers and stream flows into the ocean and mixes with salt water. That is estuary. Okay? So, now, an estuary may be called a bay, a lagoon, or a harbor if fresh water mixes with salt water. So what can we call estuary? We can call it a bay, a lagoon, or a harbor. Okay, a harbor if the fresh water mixes with salt water. Do you understand? Okay, very good. So, in the Philippines, there are large estuaries that play an important role in fishery as nursery grounds for certain fishes and crustaceans. So, one of the most popular estuaries in the Philippines is the Puerto Princesa underground river in Palawan. So, what is the most popular estuary here in the Philippines? The Puerto Princesa River or underground river in Palawan. Okay? Remember that estuaries play an important role in fishery as nursery grounds. Okay? For certain fishes and crustaceans. Okay, so estuary environment are considered one of the most productive on earth. Okay, remember that as well, that estuaries are considered one of the most productive environment on earth. Do you understand? Okay, so now let's talk about the major types of estuaries. Okay, so estuaries are divided into 5 major types depending on how they are formed. The classification is based on these geographical features. Okay, first we have the coastal plain estuaries, and then we have the BarBuilt estuaries, delta system estuary, tectonic estuaries, and forged estuaries. Okay? So, those are the 5 types of estuaries. Okay? So, again, what are those? Coastal plain, BarBuilt, delta system, tectonic, and forged estuaries. Okay? So, coastal plain estuaries, they are created or formed when sea levels rise and fall in existing river valleys. Okay, again, this estuary is created or formed when sea level, okay, sea level rise and fall in the existing river valley. Now, the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland and Narragansett Bay in Rhode Island is an example of coastal plain estuaries that were once river valleys. Okay? And then, we have the BarBuilt estuaries. Now, these estuaries are formed when a lagoon or a bay is protected from the sea. Ocean. Ocean currents and um, e, um, lives in coastal areas by sandbar and barrier islands. Again, they are formed when a lagoon or a bay is protected from the ocean current. Okay? So, the barrier islands of the Atlantic coastline of North Carolina and Massachusetts enclose bar-built estuaries. Okay? And then we have the delta system estuaries, wherein when the river flows in the restricted by the delta, an estuary may form. Now, deltas are formed on the mouths of the large rivers from sediment and silt depositing instead of being washed away by current and waves. Okay, so that is delta system estuaries. Now, this estuaries, remember that a delta is formed on the mouths of a large river. Okay? Okay, so the estuaries of the mouth of the Nile River in Louisiana are examples of delta system. So, the mouth of the Nile River, okay, in Louisiana is an example of a delta system estuary. And then, the tectonic estuary wherein this is a result from a major crack or the rifting apart of Earth's crust, often caused by earthquake, okay? And create tectonic estuaries. Now, these types of estuaries usually occur along major fault lines, okay? The San Francisco Bay in California is an example of an estuary created by tectonics. Okay? And the last one is the Ford estuary, wherein they are the U-shaped valleys that are formed or created by glacial action. So they are found in areas with long histories of glacial action. Now, Glacier Bay in Alaska is an example of Ford estuary. Okay? And then, let's talk about the tidal zones in estuaries. Now, according to ecologists, estuaries are usually divided into 3 tidal zones. So, how many tidal zones? 3. Okay, we have the supertidal zone, the intertidal zone, and the subtidal zone. Now, they are subject to changing water levels, temperature, oxygen content, and levels of light. Okay, so if there are 4 major types of estuaries, there are also 3 tidal zones in estuaries. Okay, namely the supratidal zone, the intertidal zone, and the subtidal zone. When we say supratidal zone, it is seldom covered with water. Okay, and this zone is the area above the high tide water line that extends upland. Okay. And when we say intertidal zone, This is the area that is exposed to the air at low tide and submerged at high tide. And we say subtidal zone, the area that is always covered with water since it is the area below the water line. Okay, so those are the tidal zones in the estuary. The supratidal zone, intertidal zone, and subtidal zone. And now, let us talk about the importance of estuaries. Now, the importance of estuaries provide us with a wide range of resources, benefits, and services. Okay? So, it provides places for habitats of valuable species of plants and animals. It provides also economic benefits for tourism, fisheries, and recreational activities. Estuaries perform valuable series as they help maintain a healthful ocean environment. Okay, so those are the importance of estuaries. And estuaries provide ideal areas for migratory birds to rest and refuel during their long journey. Do you understand? But also, there are threats to estuaries, namely, the pollutants that impede the total performance and can detrimental effect on life in the estuaries. Air pollution, water pollution, okay, it affects the estuaries and soil pollution. And then the land development or land reclamation that often threatens the estuaries because it could damage and could result in permanent loss of habitat. And the last one, the climate change, which it's great concern of estuaries as it can cause the overall rise and elevation of sea level. So those are the threats: pollutants, land development or land reclamation, and climate change. So everyone, what are the major types of estuaries? We have, okay, so the delta system, the Ford, the Tectonic. Okay, what else? Okay, very good. So what are the three tidal zones? Supratidal zone, intertidal zone, and subtidal zone. So what are the threats in the estuaries? Pollutants, land reclamation, and climate change. So I have your questions. What are the major types of estuaries, everyone? Okay, very good. So what are the tidal zones in the estuaries, everyone? Okay, very good. What are the threats in the estuaries? Okay, very good. Can you give me one type of estuary? Okay, very good. Again, what are the tidal zones? Supratidal zone, intertidal zone, and subtidal zone. So what are the threats? Pollutants, land reclamation, and climate change. Now, what did you learn today? Okay, so we have learned today about estuaries. Okay, so there are 5 major estuaries. Okay, and there are 3 tidal zones in an estuary. And the threats in estuaries are pollutants, land reclamation, and climate change. So if you really did understand the lesson, then let us proceed to your practice exercise. You're going to answer Check Your Knowledge, page 186. Okay? And your evaluation will be Answer Check Your Understanding, page 186. Now, don't forget to answer your practice exercise and your evaluation because I am going to check it. Do you understand? And here is your assignment wherein you're going to answer what are the major types of estuaries. Okay? Don't forget to do your assignment. Okay, so thank you for listening. See you in the next video. Bye-bye!